Hey guys, LootWizard here with another video on Gems of War. It is Monday, and so we have another Soulforge video for you. New troop out, and also new event, all that good stuff. So let's go to the Forge right away. Let's see if there's any good weapons that we can craft this week. Looks like there's a couple here. I would say these two right here, Flammifer and Doomed Club, are really great. Doomed Club, these are one of the best Doomed weapons that you can craft. These weapons do spell damage to all enemies, and then it will transform a particular color of gems. This one does green. Transforms them to Doom Skulls. Doom Skulls are the best skull in the game for damage. Um, so Plus, your spell damage here can be upgraded. Mine is already upgraded to 10, and it says here adds 1 plus damage to that per tempering level. So mine is at 10, so I have an extra 10 of spell damage added to this 34. So I'm going to do 34 damage to all enemies, and then it will transform green gems to Doom Skulls. Very powerful weapon. It's in my opinion, it's worth the 900 diamonds. So I would craft this if you don't have it. It's a really powerful weapon. Now, if you have another doomed weapon that's similar to this, maybe then you could, wait on it unless you're really trying to collect all of them. Because once you have one of them, they're pretty good. I would say, though, that this one and the Doomed Glaive are probably really good to have because of once you get a looping team with Gob Truffle, Gub Truffle will generate, or the Queen Beatrix, either of those will generate brown and green mana, and it goes really well with this type of weapon because it takes brown mana, and then you can convert those green gems to Doom Skulls. So, Flammifer is a really good weapon too. Creates 10 red gems, deals some spell damage, boosted by red gems. But that creating 10 red gems, this weapon is used a lot in a few different teams just to get that red mana going. So that's a weapon too that you could consider crafting. It's only 300 diamonds, not bad. But to craft both of these, you're going to need 1,200 diamonds. So that's pretty pricey this week on that. So to choose between those two, probably go with the Doomed Club if you don't have any Doomed weapons at this point. Flammifer is going to be a long time, probably until this one comes around again. So I would grab that one if you want it. So let's look at the troops. I always go through these summoning stones here, so we're just going to go down these real quick just to see if there's any troops in here that catch my eye. And I don't really see anything yet. Merilith is pretty good for a mana generator, but there's other troops too, so I would pass on that. You're going to get it. You're going to get that troop eventually in keys. Now here's a good one. Tulieo is, in my opinion, a really great mana generator, one of the best in the game. You can choose a color, and then it will enchant all allies of that color, and then it'll give 6 mana to them, boosted by gems of that color. So it's like you can power a whole entire team with this really easy if you focus on an all yellow or all green team, because it will enchant itself and give mana to itself if you choose yellow or green, since that's the mana color that it takes. So if you don't have that troop, I would say it's actually, a good time to try to get it if you have the yellow summoning stones to spare. I'll take a look here, see if there's any. Yeah, brown. Clockwork Sphinx is pretty good, but it's such a low rarity troop there that I think you're going to get it in keys. So yeah, I would say here in the yellow summoning stone, Tulieo is a good one to go for in the summoning stones this week. Alright, let's take a look at legendaries and mythic troops. We have Molech, Forest Guardian, Glitterclaw, and Scylla. All of these are legendary troops, and Forest Guardian is good for one thing here. All beasts start battle with 50% mana. It's a decent legendary for that, and it does transform purple gems to skulls. So it's a decent legendary, but I wouldn't craft it. Glitterclaw isn't that great, really. Scylla isn't too good, except in a few teams it can shine, and one of the reasons why is because of its final trait. It will create a bone storm on 4 or 5 gem matches, which will create more skulls falling down when the board explodes. So if you combine a troop like this with that new mythic we got, Ironhawk, that creates a bunch of doom skulls on the board, and then it explodes all of them. Once you get a 4 or 5 gem match, if you have this in your team, that explosion is going to allow a lot of skulls to come falling down on the board. So this might be a pretty good troop to combine with Iron Hawk. Moving on to Mythic troops, we have the Wild Queen, we have the Arachnean Weaver, Fallen Valdis, and Shabanu Vespera. Some decent mythics here. The Wild Queen is still one of my favorites, and I consider to be one of the most powerful mythics in the game, just for the sheer fact that it steals attack away from the enemy, and it steals quite a bit of an attack. For me, it's 36 attack will be stolen, and then it gives it to the first ally. Then it creates a mix of 22 skulls and green gems. Now, if you combine this troop with the Queen Miraji, which is a legendary troop from the Underworld, it can be really deadly because the Wild Queen is an elemental, which the Miraji Queen makes all elementals start with half mana, so that's really great. So you'll be able to start with 11 mana on the Wild Queen in that combination. But the other thing that makes that troop really powerful with this is that the Miraji Queen will convert all green gems to Doom Skulls. And so with this troop here, you're going to be creating a mix of 22 skulls and green gems. So you're already going to have some skulls mixed in with the green, and then you can cast the ability of the Miraji Queen, and bam, it would do a lot of damage. So I really like the combination of those two. But yeah, the Wild Queen is still one of my favorites and really powerful. Arachnean Weaver is also really good, but I think the Wild Queen is a little bit higher for me. But yeah, the Arachnean Weaver is still really good. It webs all enemies, which reduces the magic of all webbed troops to 0. So, for example, if an enemy is using like Mountain Crusher and it gets webbed, that Mountain Crusher weapon will not be able to explode any gems whatsoever because its magic will be reduced to 0. This also deals true damage to the last 2 enemies, and if an enemy dies, it will explode 15 gems, which is basically the whole board. Now, the other thing, too, in the final trait here is pretty good. It will have a 75% chance to summon a web spinner when an enemy dies. And a web spinner, if you have it fully traded, will do an insane amount of skull damage to any troop that it hits. So this is also a really good mythic to get. And we have Fallen Valdis, and it's one of the very, very few mythics that I do not own yet, and I may craft it just for the sake of collecting it. But this troop does not do really that great damage or anything. It's kind of very, very low tier. Everybody that I've heard try to rank this thing, they always put it way at the bottom of their list. So it's just not that good. We're going to pass that up. But Shabanu Vespera is also a really good troop for a couple of reasons. It will, it's very good troop for certain events where you can loop a team over and over, especially events where you have potions of enchantment and explosion, because it gets this troop powered up much quicker. And once this troop is powered up, you can loop a team like crazy, and it boosts a random skill on an ally when you cast it. But it'll create 9 gems of their mana color, and then it repeats it 2 more times. So if you build a team that's around one of these 3 colors that it has, around purple, yellow, or blue, you're gonna guarantee like a constant loop. The only thing that can really shut it down is if you get frozen, and that will not allow you to get an extra turn. But if you have something else in there that can help cleanse your team, that would be really good. So this is also a pretty good mythic here. So, but it's kind of situational too. Because Vespera works the best when you do focus on single colors, either the single purple, single yellow, or single blue. So it's a little limited in what kind of teams you can use it in. I think Arachnean Weaver overall is a little bit more versatile as far as like teams that you can build with it. So what I'm going to say here is the Wild Queen is number 1 for me, Arachnean Weaver is 2, Shabanu Vespera would be 3, and at a very, very far 4th place here is Fallen Valdis. So that's kind of my ranking and my thoughts on the troops here in the Forge this week. So now that that's out of the way, let's go over into the shop and let's pick up our resources first of all. And then let's check out the new weekly troop here. It's called Volcanic Golem. It is an ultra rare troop. We only get one arcane trait stone this time. That's 300 glory. And what is its ability? Magma Barrier. Explode a gem. Burn a random enemy for every red gem destroyed. Gain 37 life and armor. That's actually a lot of life and armor to gain. Like every single time that you cast this, you're going to gain that much. So then its traits, it will deal double skull damage to burning enemies. It will also gain bonus red mana from red gem matches. And then it will reduce damage from skulls by 50%. So this is a really tanky troop. So it's actually kind of useful as a tank because it's a little tiny bit of mana generation with the explode one gem, but gain 37 life and armor. Like, that's pretty powerful. If you're casting this a lot, you're gonna gain a lot of extra life and armor on this thing. And since it deals double skull damage to burning enemies, and it also will burn a random enemy for every red gem destroyed, 1-to-1 ratio, exploded gem, you can almost guarantee almost every time that you explode a gem to burn the entire enemy team unless they're immune to burning, and that will allow you to do double skull damage to those enemies. So yeah, this is a really good troop. I like it. It looks like they put some thought into this troop this time around. So now that that's all taken care of, let's go over and take a look here. We do have Guild Wars this week, so you will have to set up your sentinels, and you're going to get the most points if you choose defensive teams for every day where you don't have any duplicate troops or weapons. And then also you're going to gain bonus points for using attack teams that are focused on all one color. So if it's red day, you want to use troops and weapons that all have red in it, and do that for each day of each color. So that's basic. That's the basics of Guild Wars. It's not really too complicated. But we do have this new event, Heart of Fire. Let's go check that out. And let's see what kind of troops and if we have spell damage or skull damage, I don't know yet. But I need to purchase enough here to get my medal, and then we'll find out. And then we can try to make a team. And hopefully the devs are like thinking about this a little better now, because there's been a few events here in the past where I've just basically given up on building a team, because sometimes they'll give us a medal that focuses on skull damage, but there's no troops or weapons for that event that have skulls. So it is skull damage this time around, 160% skull damage for all troops in current event. Let's go see what kind of troops they give us and weapons to maximize that damage. So first of all, it says here at the bottom, the role of troops, Defender and War Master, and it has to use blue. So those are our troop restrictions. And that probably restricts the weapon to blue as well. But let's just go in here and check really quick. Yep, it does restrict the weapon to blue. But we got plenty of blue weapons that should be good. Well, I shouldn't say plenty. You want a weapon that's going to create skulls, obviously. This one right here, Doomed Blade, is going to transform red gems to Doom Skulls. That would be a really good one to go with. Other than that, we have... Is there anything that creates skulls besides that? Let's just type in skulls and see what comes up. So, okay, we do have a couple here. The Doom Tome, which probably is not... I'm just going to say now, it's not as good as Doom Blade. And this is does damage boosted by Doom Skulls, so that's no good. But this one right here, the Rising Staff, could be really good for this event, because it creates 8 skulls, and then it will entangle the first enemy. And entanglement reduces their attack damage to 0. So that's going to be probably a really great weapon for a lot of you guys to use if you don't have the Doomed Blade. So I'm just going to throw that in there because we're going to go with that just so I can try to make a team around it. And, okay, we do have Ironhawk in here. That creates skulls, and it's going to explode. We have the Lord of Slaughter. Oh my gosh. The Lord of Slaughter. That is going to be amazing to use for this event. Absolutely amazing. So, I mean, we could put Ironhawk in there too, but we'll see. Is there any other troops? The Miraji Queen is also in here. Converts all green gems to Doom Skulls. Now, the thing is, if you put that in there, it'd probably be a good substitute for the Lord of Slaughter, because if I put it in there now like this, you're gonna the blue and the red here is gonna be blocked by the Lord of Slaughter. So it's kind of like you use one or the other. Now, trying to look here to see what do we have for a mana generator, because right now we got like no mana generation except Ironhawk. So I mean, honestly, I probably should put him up there. The only thing is here is that the weapon is now blocking 2 colors there of Ironhawk. Yeah, I mean, I could do something like that, but then it's like, what do you do with the color of that weapon? Because now Ironhawk is blocking Writhing Staff. So I don't know. But here's the thing, too. The Infernal Machine, this thing creates 8 skulls or 8 Doom Skulls boosted by your souls. Summon an Iron Jaw. That creates skulls, so that could be useful in this event, perhaps. Just seeing here, do we have anything else that creates skulls? And do we have anything that can generate mana for us? Well, Stonehammer generates mana for us, but it's going to use the same exact colors as Ironhawk. The other thing, we got Aberoth here, which removes all gems, heals back to full, gains 33 attack. Trying to see what else we have here. Maybe I should just see if there's any... Oh, yeah, okay. Let's type in skull or skulls and see. Oh yeah, it's going to tell us that it's reducing damage from skulls. That's why some of those are coming up. I see. So, the turtle cannon creates green gems. Well, as far as like mana generation, we got the Dwarven Gate. Gives 5 mana to all allies. Suppose you could throw something like that in there at the top. I really don't know that these two are going to kind of block each other, especially with the Dwarven Gate up there. It's too bad we don't have like a weapon. If I put that in there, then everything gets blocked. So, I don't know. We got some weird colors and stuff going on here. As far as a class, just gonna use Titan. And we will go blue brown, but let's see if we got a better. Yeah, we'll do something like that. Double brown, blue. I don't know. I mean, at least they did give us some good troops that create skulls. Like the Lord of Slaughter is going to be amazing. And for the first few levels here, you're not even going to really need skull damage, just because the enemies have such low health and armor. That you can just use spell damage like anything that does like damage to all enemies for like at least the first couple of levels. And then after that, you know. Alright, let's use Ironhawk here. And then you got Lord of Slaughter down there, and that's going to be cool. So, you know, some team like this, I don't know. I kind of just threw a bunch of crap together, but there's probably a few other troops in here that would be good. Really, a mana generator is what I was really looking for. And it's, unless I'm missing something, I mean, of course, you got this right here. It creates 11 gems. Then you got to sacrifice a troop with that. Stonehammer might work good. Like if we did, instead of Ironhawk, we did Stonehammer, it might actually be pretty good with Lord of Slaughter. But yeah, and with the Miraji Queen in here, that's pretty good troop. Like I said, creates converts those green gems to Doom Skulls. So for what it's worth, that is kind of my ideas there. Some of the troops we can use this week in the event. And yeah, that's about all I got for you in this video this week. So thanks for watching as always, guys. I love you, and I will catch you on the next one. Later.